For ACUsports.com, Grant Boone with women's head basketball coach Julie Goodenough. The day after a big road win against McNeese, 80-75. Coach, just looking at your young team, there was every reason to think maybe they would stumble on the road, first road test in the conference. And what did they do? They held on tight down the stretch and get a big win. How'd they do it?
I tell you, life in the Southland, it's tough. You know, these road trips, they're long, they wear on you. I was just really proud of our players last night just for competing, and they showed a lot of maturity in the second half. You knew a team like McNeese was going to make a run in the second half, and they did, sure enough. And our kids showed a lot of composure and just, played together. They had to hit some tough shots. I thought McNeese was very aggressive going after offensive rebounds late in the game, and they, just kept staying in the game, dwindling our lead down a little bit. But our players never seemed to be very rattled. I mean, they just continued playing hard, and we made huge plays on down at our end. So really proud of our team, and just the way that it seems like the last 4 games we've just seen some people step up and just show some maturity in those pressure-packed situations.
I want to get to that in just a second. Building that big lead at halftime was mighty impressive. Your team was aggressive getting to the basket and getting fouled a lot in that first half, weren't they?
Yeah, I thought Bree really set the tone for us, just getting to the free throw line really early in the game. And we got a lot of shots in the paint. They just weren't falling, but she was really aggressive getting to the free throw line. And, her 10 made free throws were huge for us in the first half. But I think that just kind of set the tone for other players to be a little bit more aggressive. And obviously, one of our goals, I guess, is to get to the free throw line, and we haven't been there a whole lot this year. But I think that if you just have 1 or 2 players kind of figure out how to do that, then it almost gives everybody else permission to be aggressive as well. And so I think that we saw that last night, and Bree just kind of setting the tone, getting to the free throw line. But the lead that we had at halftime, that was huge for us, because we knew that a team like McNeese, playing on their home court, they would have a chance to, start putting some possessions together and get momentum. So the first half was really important for our young team.
It's no surprise that as things got really tight, closing minutes of the game, that your 2 most experienced players, the most minutes, certainly in Southland Conference play, Sarah Williamson and Bree Wright, took over, each with huge free throws. Even Dominique Golightly, after a turnover, got a block, and it turned the ball the other way. You're going to need those veteran players on a very young team. You're going to need the ones who do have experience to step up, aren't you?
Absolutely. And, we call on Bree and Dom and Sarah to be examples for, the young players that haven't been on the road in the Southland. They haven't played very many Southland Conference games, period. We call on them to be examples, and they were huge for us. We really tried to get the ball in the hands of those 3 late in the game, and we had some great play action with them. When McNeese would make a great play, then we'd come right back and we'd have one of those 3, hit a shot or get to the free throw line or get a big rebound. So I'm just really proud of them showing the urgency and just showing poise and composure down the stretch.
Sarah had 7 points, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds in that fourth quarter alone. Now you get back to Abilene, here you are, you get Southeastern Louisiana. Even when you had your super seniors the last few years, Southeastern was always a tough matchup. What do you expect from them Saturday?
Well, with Taylon Underwood, she's their leading scorer. There's only one player in the conference who shot the ball more than Taylon, and that's Randy Brown that we've already seen. Taylon shoots volume shots. She's going to get her shots up, and so we are talking about Southeastern right now with our team, and you have to know where she is. You've got to guard her with everyone focused on her. You've got to know where she is. Everybody will get a chance to guard her in the game on Saturday, and she's a really good player, very high IQ, and can score a lot of points in a short period of time. So she's really the key to their success.
And for ACU fans looking at the matchup, they may look at the record and say, well, hey, they're not very good. Look at who they've played. They've had a rigorous schedule.
They really have. Their non-conference schedule was really tough. They play a lot of Power 5 schools.
And a lot of games that went down to the wire that were winnable.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they probably have the toughest start to conference play. They've already played Central and Stephen F. on the road. They come here on the road, and then they play Lamar, I think, at home finally. So, 4 of the top teams in the league, that's who they start with. I mean, they have the toughest start to conference play. So, yeah, the records are out the door at this point. I mean, any team in our league can beat any team. So
anywhere.
Absolutely. So we've got to be extremely prepared on Saturday.
ACU 3-0 to start conference play, home for Southeastern Louisiana on Saturday here at Moody.